Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to make sure that I can just see my YouTube feed coming in over here. And I can. And so, awesome. Thank you guys for joining me today. I'm super excited. I was just over on Instagram going live for about 5 minutes before I came on YouTube just to say hello to the peeps over there and to let them know I was coming live over here on YouTube. So I'm really excited to be talking to you here today. And if you are listening, there's Peter Lewis. He's saying, all right, I am doing great, Peter. I hope you're doing great too. Thank you for dropping a comment in so I can see that the comments are working. And I'm going to be talking about confidence today. And confidence is a subject that I think is really critical right now because COVID has been going on now for a year, and even people who started off this kind of marathon we've been going through, who started off with decent confidence, are starting to have that wear down a little bit. I think our separation from each other, our isolation in our careers, and just the distance that we've had to have from, sorry, I got to turn my notifications off. There we go. Has had a really bad effect on people. And so I'm hearing from a lot of folks in my Brand Design Masters Facebook group, as well as people in my mastermind groups, other partners that I have, people that I coach, about confidence and how there is a crisis of confidence going on in the world right now, and particularly in the creative professional community. And I think it is hitting our community more than many because we have a tendency, designers and creatives have a tendency to be bit of a sensitive lot. Let me put it that way. And I think that we have a closer level of connection with our emotions than many. And I also think because we're creatives and we do have a tendency to naturally look for confirmation of our skills and affirmation of our worth through our creative work, that having this distance from our clients, from our partners, from our coworkers, and everything just happening on Zoom, and we're working in isolation a lot all day, I think that has had a really detrimental effect on people's level of confidence in on a lot of different levels, from the level of the quality of their work, what their goals are, how they're progressing or how fast they're progressing, the decisions that they're making every day, like day to day, from their design work to what they're posting on social media, what they're saying, what they're writing, how they're showing up, where they're showing up, how they've been updating their websites, like everything, all these decisions that we make day in and day out. Folks are starting to have a little bit of doubt. There's a little bit of doubt creeping into our minds, and we don't have that affirmation, those people to bounce things off of that we used to, in the way that we used to. Hey, Roberto, welcome. Christoph, good to see you. Seasoned Destiny, Anita, Laura, Embellish Graphics, and Peter, of course, and Steed Digital. Great to see all you guys here. And so I just wanted to come on and talk about it. And full disclosure, my paid mastermind group, the Brand Design Masters Guild, is launching its 4th iteration in April. And as I walk you through this presentation, I'm going to move into a description and an introduction to the Brand Design Masters Guild. So if that is something you might want to get involved in, I'm going to tell you all about it and share with you and promote my mastermind group. So just letting you know, that's on the tail end. There's not any surprises in terms of this presentation, but I am going to be sharing, I think, some very valuable information with you that hopefully you will be able to put in practice into one way or another in order to boost your confidence and get yourself into a better place. Ankit, good to see you. All right, so you guys, if you guys are ready to jump into it, I have allergies. So my nose is itching. Sorry about that. And Peter, Red Bull, yes. I really should get an endorsement. I should do an endorsement for Red Bull because it's kind of funny. Whenever I go live, I use it. All right, so I'm going to pop onto the slides and let's jump into this. So I got to do this, got to do this. All right. So let's talk about 10 ways to build confidence. All right. Got to get my slides working. All right. I think in order to succeed today, you really do need to have a level of confidence for the very reasons that I just spoke about, because we are so separated from each other, because we don't have that constant stream of feedback that we used to have when we worked at our agencies, at our companies, in a lot closer relationship with our clients and our partners. There is a bit of a crisis going on in confidence, I think, and that affects all sorts of things that we do, from our decision making to what we're posting to the creative work that we're doing. And you really have to have confidence in order to succeed these days, because you have to have this level of surety in how you're going about your business. And so I think that, and this is what I've been hearing a lot about from other people in my Brand Design Masters Facebook group, as well as the people I coach, the people in my mastermind, is that people are feeling more isolated than ever. And yeah, duh, right? COVID, we all are feeling more isolated than ever. But I also am hearing that people feel like their meaningful networks are shrinking a little bit. They are on Zoom all the time, but there's this disconnect that even happens on Zoom. And that they want more feedback. People want more feedback into the work that they're doing and the decisions that they're making, because they're feeling unsure about what they're doing. And so the big question, what that puts out to us is, the big question is like, how are you going to get it? How are you going to develop or start to build more confidence in yourself if that has been waning? And the biggest barrier for most people, really, when it comes down to it, is the decisions that they make, because we have to make decisions about our work. We have to make decisions about our social media, how we market ourselves, what we do on our websites, how we communicate with people, what kind of phases we should put on our proposals, how much we should price our work, whether we should take that client on or not, what's the best way to approach clients. There's a million decisions that we're making to run our businesses, and confidence, lack of confidence, undermines that core aspect of literally everything that we do. And so what we're going to be discovering today is we're going to be talking about how you can build your confidence painlessly, and how you can expand that meaningful network that might be shrinking a little bit, how to feel more secure in the decisions that you're making. And also, as I said, towards the end of this, I'm going to share a way where you can literally invest in your success. And to a certain extent, you can buy confidence. I'm telling you, you can. I've seen it happen with 27 other people in the last 6 months. And so I'm going to tell you how you can do that. And so let's talk about building confidence, right? Sometimes we feel this tiny, right? In up against the big world of decisions that we have to make. The first thing you have to know is that confidence is built. Confidence comes by doing. No one is born confident. And when we look at other people, sometimes we think, oh, wow, they just have it all together. They're so sure of themselves. And the thing is that confidence comes by doing. Confidence comes by doing stuff that you're scared of, and doing it over and over and over, because confidence comes from repetition. Confidence comes from action. And so it really helps knowing someone who's been there before, who has gone through the sorts of things that you are going to be trying, that you're going to be doing. And so one of the things I'm going to be talking about is how you can surround yourself with people who have been on the journey and are 4 steps ahead of you, because they're the people who can help you feel a little more secure in the actions that you're taking. But the thing to remember is that confidence is built, and it comes by doing stuff. doing stuff that may be a little scary. Everybody sucks at first. You guys know, if you've listened to me at all, is that I have a mantra that is dare to suck. And daring to suck means you have to take chances. And every time someone does something new, they suck at it. The first 20 YouTube videos I did sucked. The first website that I did certainly sucked. The first logo I did sucked. Like, you have to do things 10, 20, 30 times before you start to feel a level of confidence. So confidence is built. It comes by doing. The next thing you have to do is you have to show up. You have to be visible, meaning you have to take that chance and part the curtains. You have to show people what is behind the curtain. Entrepreneurial loneliness is a real thing. Like Chris Ducker, when he first started Upreneur, one of his biggest selling points was like, entrepreneurship is a lonely business. And it is very true. It is. And loneliness kind of creates lack of confidence. It's really easy to hide when you work for yourself or when you work as a freelancer. And business development is hard, right? You have to make yourself visible. But in order to, the best kind of business development is word of mouth. And to get word of mouth, you have to become visible. You have to interact. You have to build that network of meaningful connections so people can share about you to the world. So to a certain extent, you got to get comfortable with being seen. And for a lot of creative people, that's tough because creative people can be introverted. We can be shy. We can want to just kind of do our work in the background. But to build confidence, you really have to be able to learn to allow yourself to be seen. Now, in the beginning, when I was doing YouTube videos, I was nervous as hell. And I was super nervous when I started doing my podcast. And I sucked the first 10 or 20 of them that I did. But you have to show up. You have to make yourself visible. So in order to build that confidence, you have to build by doing. And the first thing you have to do is kind of like expose yourself, so to speak. And the third thing that's really, really important is you have to surround yourself with action takers. You have to nix negative people out of your life because negativity sucks confidence right out of you. And if you are surrounding yourself with negative people, you are swimming against the tide. But one of the easiest ways to build confidence is to surround yourself with action takers and people who are, as I said, 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of you. They act like icebreakers, right? So if you think of an icebreaker and how it breaks, through, glaciers and ice to let a ship pass, and those ships come up in the wake of the icebreaker, that's essentially what surrounding yourself with action takers and is. Essentially, you are being sucked into action. You are being pulled in along with them, kind of in a vacuum effect. Is that when you are surrounding yourself with people who are taking action and have inertia and are moving forward, it draws you along with them. You are inspired by that action. You pick up ideas and methods and techniques and kind of energy from people around you who are action takers. So as much as you can, try to network with people who are taking action. And it will inspire you into action. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was setting strategic goals. And there is no confidence without accomplishments, which is why I said you have to build confidence. You have to do things. You have to do things repetitively. So you have to move, you have to accomplish, and with accomplishments comes confidence. But there are no accomplishments unless you set goals. And so setting very close-in goals, like daily goals, top 3 things you're going to do today, weekly goals, a major one bucket of work that you want to make a dent in this week, monthly goals, quarterly goals, 1-year goals, 3-year, 5-year strategic goals. Setting goals for yourself is one of the ways that you can break down the big, overwhelming monster that can be goals you have for yourself, these giant overarching goals, how to break them down into individual baby steps. By breaking goals down, by writing goals and breaking down goals into the smallest steps possible, every step that you take, every box that you check, you have to give yourself credit, and that will build your confidence. The other key thing about setting goals, it's not just setting goals. Setting goals is super important. If you don't have goals, you're never going to reach them. But one of the best ways to accomplish your goals is to be accountable for them. And the only way to be accountable for them is to share them with someone else. So I have found that one of the best ways to accomplish your goals is to share your goals with another person. Now, you can do this like totally close in, like your daily goals. You can establish one network connection and just have a Zoom with them and say, hey, you know what? I'm having a hard time getting stuff done or really feeling focused. What if we just, got on a Zoom first thing in the morning, every day for 5 minutes, or just shot each other an email and listed the 3 goals that we were going to accomplish that day and shared those goals with each other. You share them with each other. And then at the end of the day, we're going to shoot each other an email and tell each other how we did. Something as simple as that, as setting out a simple goal and a simple level of accountability for your goals, can lead to a higher level of confidence. And I guarantee you it will lead to a higher level of focus on what you're doing and a higher probability that you're going to achieve those goals, however small they are. And this works for large goals. I mean, small goals like daily goals. It works for weekly goals, yearly goals. Sharing them with somebody else in a very direct way adds a level of accountability in the back of your mind that you will perform to. And so accountability breeds confidence. Now, number 5 is an important one, and I hear about this one a whole lot, and that is one of the biggest confidence killers is comparing yourself to other people, because comparing yourself to other people is one of the biggest demotivators that I know. Comparing yourself to other people and saying, I'm not up to that level. I'm not doing what they're doing. I don't have as many followers. I don't have as many clients. I'm not getting those kinds of jobs. I'm not doing that level work. However you're comparing yourself to other people, that will suck confidence right out of your psyche. You can look at other people, but you have to reframe it. You have to reframe it into a stage of, I'm going to be inspired by that person. I'm going to see what they're doing and set that as a goal, a place, a thing that I'm going to achieve, a thing that I'm going to aspire to. You have to reframe how you're looking at the rest of the world and what other people are doing. Not using it a way to beat yourself down and self-flagellate, right? You're going to use it as a way to set a goal, to be inspired. Instead of comparing yourself to others, I talk about this a lot, which is you want to strive to be 1% better every day. Tiny increments, just 1% better every day, because after 100 days, you're 100% better. After a year, you're 365% better. And it's like compound interest, right? If you put $1 into the bank, over how many years and how much percentage interest, it grows at exponential rates. It's the same thing with confidence. It's the same thing with improving. If you just bite off a little piece, 1% better every day, it will slowly build your confidence. Now, you want to picture where you're going to be. Number 6 is, I want you to find new partners and learn new things. And the reason why new partnerships and new connections build confidence, this is a really interesting kind of connection, is that when you do that and introduce yourself to new people and learn about other people and what they do and what their skill sets are, it's allowing you to see yourself with fresh eyes. It's allowing you to take stock in what it is that you actually do, what it is that you actually know, what you have to offer other people. Even if you're just networking and sharing, what you do with other people, or if you're networking in a way that you're going to actually try to, go and do some partnerships or work projects with other people. Sharing about what it is that you do, what you know, allows you to take stock of yourself. It's kind of like when you write your resume, right? When you wrote your first resume, maybe not your first resume. Let's say you wrote your 5th resume. And you're going through your career and you're kind of listing all the things that you've done, the places you've worked, the things that you've accomplished. As you do that, it allows you to kind of like take stock in what you actually have done in your life. And by partnering with new people and sharing more about yourself, you see yourself in a different way. And also, the other piece of this is that by partnering with people and possibly working with them or partnering with them on projects or feeding work to them or them feeding work to you, is that it allows you to see yourself as bigger than you are. You're not just, like if you were with me at the very beginning of the presentation, you're not seeing yourself as this little teeny mouse sitting next to the leg of an elephant, right? You are partnering with someone else and you become, to a certain extent, a larger entity because you are not just alone anymore. You're seeing yourself through fresh eyes, what you bring to the table, what you have to offer, and you're partnering and packaging that together with someone else who has similar different skills or skills, right? But the fact that there are 2 of you or 4 of you or 6 of you make you a little larger than they are. They build you up. It makes you feel part of a whole. So establishing new partnerships and learning those new skills of things that you bring to the table is a great way to improve your confidence. Now, this one does not seem intuitive, but helping other people succeed builds your confidence. There was a very, very famous business coach whose name was Zig Ziglar. Absolutely legendary back in the, I think, 30s or 40s. He had a quote that said, "You can get everything you want out of life by helping other people get what they want out of life." You can get everything you want out of life by helping others get everything they want out of life, which is absolutely true because there's a level of good karma going out that will return to you. I'm a firm believer in this. And that by helping other people succeed and sharing with them what you know, the skills you have, the strengths that can get them to a new place, it makes you feel better about yourself. It makes you feel of value. It will pump you up. It will give you a level of confidence. It will help you acknowledge how far you've come and how much you have to offer and how much you know. And bringing other people along with you on your journey is just like that number 6 one that I just talked about, which is establishing partnerships. It's essentially binding together as a whole so you're bigger than yourself. You're not just yourself and all your skills and everything you've accomplished, but you've also kind of bound yourself to this person that you're helping and where you're helping them get and what you're helping them do. It will give you a sense of purpose. It will give you a sense of energy. It will build a level of surety in you. Now, the other part of this, which is great, 6 and 7, partnerships and helping other people succeed, is that in partnerships, in relationships, you then have somebody to bounce things off of, to get feedback from, to double check those decisions that you're unsure about. It's a really great way to kind of get over that hump of insecurity, right? Now, number 8 is also a cool one. Celebrate your wins. It's so easy these days when you're working your nose to the grindstone, you're pushing the mouse every day, you have a long list of things to do, you're trying to check off as many of those things as you possibly can in the day. You come to the end of the day, there's still 10 things left, you're feeling like completely dejected, and you just know you're going into tomorrow with like 20 more things on the list. You have to take a moment, you have to take a breath. You have to just put your hand over the top of those check boxes that aren't done yet and just look at the ones that are checked. And take stock of your wins. Celebrate in just a little bit of way of what you accomplished for that day. And this is just one kind of self-time management technique that I use a lot. And I actually, in a lot of my coaching clients, I share this technique with them. And it was actually originally, I think, put out into the world by Tim Ferriss in a 4-Hour Workweek. But he basically said, do the most important thing first, meaning choose one thing that if you did something that moved the ball forward with that one thing just a little bit that day, that you would feel like that day was a success. And do that thing first. When you come into the office, you go into your workroom, wherever that is, the coffee shop, your laptop's on your table, do that one thing that if you just put 2 hours into it, hour and a half into it, first thing in the day, don't answer email, don't go on social, don't look at your Facebook posts, don't answer a text. Just focus on that one thing for an hour and a half, first thing, and move that ball forward a little bit. If you do that, you will feel like the rest of your day is a success, and take stock of that win. I just literally about an hour ago got off a coaching call with someone who was just raving about the fact of just changing this one aspect of how she ran her day, that it had transformed how she felt about that what she was doing was the right thing. This do the most important thing first technique had transformed how she felt about how well she was doing in her business. And so I encourage you, try it. Try it for a week. No email, no social, no nothing, no news, right? Pick the one thing. And here's the thing. It's usually the thing that you don't want to do the most. That's what I found. As a king procrastinator, is that the one thing that you don't want to face or don't want to do the most, pick that one thing and do that thing first. And I guarantee you, if you do that every day for a week, you'll come back to me, text me in the Facebook group, and tell me what kind of results you've gotten, how you feel about it. All right, now, number 9 is invest in your success. Investing money, investing financially in your success will speed up your success. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Faster growth breeds confidence. And if you invest in your growth, you will grow faster. And that growth will breed confidence. Essentially, and I said this at the very beginning of this live, is that you are buying confidence. People buy courses, they buy into masterminds, they buy into communities, they buy books. And by investing in themselves, there's a psychological shift that happens where you take on the mindset of abundance because you have made a financial and a mental commitment to do something new, to learn something new, to invest in your success. And when you do that, it builds confidence. It's kind of weird, but it totally works. And because the more you invest in your success, the more you'll know, the more you can do, the more confident you feel in your skill sets, and to a certain extent, the more you are. And being confident really comes from a self-identity, feeling like you are more, you are worth it, that you have value. And sometimes one of the best ways to do this is to invest in yourself. And I'm going to get into that a little bit more in just a moment. Now, number 10, what is the one best thing that you can do to build confidence fast? and I hinted about this just a little bit, which is join a mastermind group. And the reason why joining a mastermind group, there are a ton of reasons, and I'm going to tell you 9 right now as soon as I get past this slide. But I want to tell you a little story. And that is that I've been running Brand Design Masters Guild for 9 months now. I've done 3 different groups. I'm now building my 4th mastermind group, guild number 4. And when I launched that group, the one thing that came out of the feedback of those masterminds that people were walking away with that was going to live the longest of that experience, it was confidence. So the number one way I think that you can build confidence is to join a mastermind group. What is a mastermind group? Some of you here may have been in the guild. I know there's a couple people actually who are in the comments here who have been in one of the Brand Design Masters Guild. And if you don't know what a mastermind group is, a mastermind group is it says it right here, a peer group that offers a combination of brainstorming, education, accountability, support to sharpen your business and your personal skills. And it helps you and the other members set goals and be held accountable for them. So as you can see, even in the description of this what a mastermind group is, it touches on a whole lot of the things that I just went through that you can do to build your confidence. Networking, getting more partners, helping other people succeed, celebrating your wins, setting goals, being held accountable for those goals. And so it checks all of those boxes. What masterminds give you is essentially overnight, they give you an instant network. The Brand Design Masters Guild is a group of 10 people. I am one of them. So it's 9 people who joined this group. And overnight, they are one of 9 people who have their back, are there, are investing in each other's success. They are action takers that they are associating themselves with. That was another goal. I said associate yourself with action takers, right? And so you get an instant network of 8 other action takers who are going to pull you along and inspire you in that inertia to improve and grow. So you get this accelerated level of growth. You set goals in the group and you hold each other accountable to those goals every week. And in seeing other people set goals and achieve goals, and you're setting goals and achieving your goals, it sets up this level of inspiration and motivation that I believe is completely unmatched. And in that group, as you're interacting in the group and as the group progresses, you get feedback from the group on what you're working on what your goals are, any questions that you have, any insecurities that you're not really sure about, feedback you want on your design, feedback you want on a proposal you're doing, or how much you should charge for something, or what you're, how you're updating your website, or the font color, the font choices you're making, or the update to your logo that you're doing. You'll have 8 people to get really great a range of feedback from. And you also, and this is another thing that I did not expect to be happening out in these groups as much as is happening, which is that you get project partners, meaning you're going to make deep relationships with other people in the creative industries and in other industries that you can possibly use to bring in as partners on projects, or who could use you as partner on their projects. So there's a lot of kind of like interweaving of business partnerships that happened in a mastermind. And because of that, new business leads as a part of that, meaning new client projects. The other thing that it really brings is it brings a level of clarity to what you're doing in your career, both personally and professionally. And it leads to number 9, which is confidence, which is that one thing that I did not have in the sales brochure when I was sharing and originally filling my first guild, but it has turned out to be one of the most impactful aspects of joining a mastermind group. The number 1 bit of feedback from the Design Masters Guild is increased confidence and a trusted network. They are, in many ways, the easiest way to build confidence is in a mastermind group. And so you tell your clients when you're trying to sell them branding work or creative work to invest in their business, right? You have to invest in your business in order to grow in the future. You're wanting them to invest in your creative services or your branding or your copywriting or your video or whatever it is that you sell as a creative professional, so they can grow in the future, right? That's what we do. Well, the funny thing is so much of the time, we don't do that ourselves. Most clients, for the most part, they invest 20% of their gross revenue of the year into marketing and back into their business. They invest the money that they make right back into their business. And they use that to pay us as creative pros. They use it to take out paid advertising, but they invest back in their business. It is the classic spending money to make money. But there are so many creative professionals that I know and that I see in my big Facebook group who do not invest financially in their businesses, but they still are expecting them to grow, right? And so why aren't we taking our own advice when it comes to growing our own businesses? You really need to invest money and time into your business for it to grow in the future. And I can't tell you how many people I coach, how many people I see in the Facebook groups, how many people I hear in social media and groups that I'm part of that kind of sit back on their laurels and expect that somehow people are going to find them. They build this great website, they put their stuff on Behance, and then people are just going to find them. And they're taking a passive approach to the growth of their business. And you can't do that. You can't do that these days. It just doesn't work that way. And so you really have to get out there and invest in a different way, approach it in a different way. And I believe that masterminds are the investment to achieve your goals. So I want to ask you this question. When was the last time that you invested financially in your success? When was the last time you bought a course, that you joined a paid community, that you made a financial investment into your success, into your growth as a business? And so, because the mindset of investment, what happens is when you make a financial commitment, your psyche changes. And I believe that actually reality changes. And I'll share about that in a second. But things move. Like as soon as you start and dedicate yourself to a new learning experience that you've invested financially in to improve your business and improve yourself, things start to happen. And so here's the thing. I run paid mastermind groups, and I told you from the very beginning that I was going to be sharing about the Brand Design Masters Guild. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. But I want you to also think about in this question in terms of the investment of investing in yourself, is that what's the investment that you would have to make in order to get the benefits of a mastermind? Right? That if you had to do it all on your own, right? So if you had to build a network of 9 people who are close partners and you were going to have deep interactions with them on a regular basis, how much would it cost you in order to do that? Well, you could go to a conference, which none of us can do these days, right? And so going to a conference, airfare, hotel, cost of the conference, right? Food, all that sort of stuff, probably costs you in the neighborhood of $3,000, right? $3,500 if it's across the country, even more so if it's out of the country, right? Or you could do, you meet 9 people at that conference and then, which you can't go to, or you somehow find 9 people that you want to interact with on a deeper level, and you set up in-depth, Zoom calls with each of them. And you get to know them and you start to network really deeply and share with each other and set goals and be accountable and all that stuff that you do in a mastermind group. But you're doing that with 9 people individually. And, your time probably costs $50 or $75 an hour. So that would be a $4,000 investment for you to do it solo, right? That's if you could find those 9 people, right? Or you could combine those things. You go to a conference, you meet 9 people, and then you keep up with all of those 9 people at the end. And, what would those 2 things cost together? We're moving into the $8,000 territory, right? Or if you wanted to move faster and you wanted to do one-on-one coaching with me, you could do, 12, 13 hours of coaching with me at $297 an hour. That's going to cost you close to $4,000 to just do it one-on-one with someone who can kind of move you forward faster in your growth. But what I want to do is I want to introduce you to my mastermind group. It's called the Brand Design Masters Guild. And the membership it's a 10-person mastermind group. I'm one of those people, so there are 9 people who become members. And it's a 12-week period where we do 12 one-hour Zoom calls over 12 weeks. And then also, there are 2 personal hot seats where you get the entire group focused on your challenges, on your problem, to give you feedback on whatever you want. The entire group goes all in on you. That happens twice during that 12 weeks. And also you get 12 one-on-one Zoom calls with other members of the group to develop deeper relationships and get to know them better, and that you share more of your skill sets and they do the same. And it develops really deep functional relationships. And then you get access to all the recordings of all of the Zoom meetings of the Guild. There's also a private Facebook group where you can ask questions, you can interact, you can post anything you want, because there's only 10 people in that group. It's a private group, and there are no rules. So you could go live in there, you can post video in there, you can post links, you can do basically whatever you want. And then you're also going to get the guidance and the feedback and the accountability from me directly, because I am in every one of those Zoom meetings. I do the one-on-ones with everybody as well. This is just 3 of the Guild groups that I've run so far. There's 27 people that have been through this experience in the last 9 months. And it's usually, it always is, an incredible group of people, and very vibrant, very energetic. And they are all pulling each other forward with the energy of the other action takers in the Guild groups. And so there are 27 already very satisfied Guild alumni having gone through this program. These are just a few of the kind of comments or testimonials that I've received about the Guild. They have been incredibly positive. As I said, and one of these people, Peter Lewis, Peter L., I'm going to out you, Peter. Peter is in the audience, in the chat. I did not pay him to be here. Peter is, a diehard Guild fan, I believe. And Kendall, who was in the Guild just before this one, he had the greatest quote of all, which just said, just don't wait, just do it. People have had their businesses move forward at an incredible rate in just 12 weeks. There's a private Facebook group, as I said. There's also a membership area where all of the recordings are posted of every meeting that we have, which you can go back and look at and watch or listen to at your leisure. So you get an instant network of professionals overnight. There are motivated action takers, and they are going to they're going to hold you accountable for the goals that you set to achieve those goals. And just by being with those people, you pick up different skills. You get sharper design and marketing ideas and strategic skills about how to go about your business. And those things are going to help you land bigger and better projects. And like I said, what it does more than almost anything is it builds your level of confidence in yourself. And I shared this one thing with you, which is the Guild effect. So what is the Guild effect, right? And I hinted at this just a few minutes ago, but the Guild effect is this thing that happens when people make the time and the financial commitment to join the Brand Design Masters Guild. And what it does is it sounds so woo-woo, but it actually happens, which is that people make this commitment and things actually start happening in their business. One member landed a national bank client before she even opened the doors of her agency. Another one landed a $20,000 project with a fashion retailer, and then hired another member as a subcontractor. One member, started the Guild with absolutely no clients and left with 5 clients. And there was another member who came in the Guild as a generalist, but she had this luxury yacht client. And when in the Guild, she decided she was going to focus entirely on the luxury yacht business. How giant a business is that? Not very giant, right? There aren't that many companies that do absolutely high-end luxury yachts. And by the end of the Guild, she had a second high-end luxury yacht client, and she had niched down her agency to just that level. So when people join, things happen. It's really weird. The investment for the guild is $14.97 for the 12 weeks. And if you look at the financial investment of doing it yourself, like I just laid out, $14.97 is a steal. And I said at the very beginning, end of last year, that it would be going up, but I wanted to make sure that people had accessibility to this experience in 2021 because COVID has just not decided to let its claws out of us. So if you go to philipvandusen.com/mastermind, it's going to take you to a little form, a little intake form, a questionnaire essentially. And enrollment is going to close on the 18th. So you only have a couple weeks to do this. philipvandusen.com/mastermind. And if you build it yourself, it's going to cost a whole lot more money going to a conference, doing one-on-one coaching with me. And essentially you get that one-on-one coaching if you go into the guild, or trying to do Zoom network calls with 8-9 other people. It's a much higher investment in your financial investment than joining the guild is. And you know you need to build your confidence because you have to have confidence in today's market. And as I said, and I'm sure you believe, you do need to invest in your own success. So what I think the best way to grow your confidence is to join the guild. So if you go to philipvandusen.com/mastermind, you're going to come to this little form. It's a jot form. It's got about 6 or 7 screens. And it's going to ask you questions about your business, what your goals are for your business, what your biggest hurdles are, what you're struggling with. And it's going to give me some indication of who you are and what your business is. And then after you come to the end of this form and you check the box that says you're willing to make this investment to get through the other side, you will be able to set up a Zoom call, a one-on-one Zoom call with me, and we'll talk for 30 minutes to discuss your participation in the guild. We'll talk about your business, what your goals are, and we will see if you are going to be a good candidate for the guild and if it's going to work for you. I curate these groups very closely, so I pay very close attention to the people that I am populating a guild group with, and so to a certain extent, it's not an interview. It's not like you're going to get hired, but essentially there are people that I've interviewed where their business wasn't in the place that they were ready or were going to really benefit from the guild, or it was so far it might not get the most from the guild. So there are people who have fallen outside of what I see as the sweet spot of people who really benefit from masterminds. So I try to weed those out when I talk to people. But we'll talk about your business and your goals, and we'll see if the guild might be a good fit for you. And so if you're interested in the Guild Mastermind, go to philipvandusen.com/mastermind. As I said, it's $14.97 for the 12-week program. It's going to launch in the 3rd or 4th week of April is when it's going to start, and then run for 12 weeks. And the window for opportunity to join closes in the middle of April. And so with that, I was just looking at Piyush's comment. High dopamine and high testosterone equals high confidence. That and Red Bull, Peter Lewis. Hey, Kay. Hey, Paola. Sorry. That was a butchered pronunciation. Paola, I'm really sorry about that. Martini, Manuel, Jarmello, good to see you. Pamela, awesome. Good to see some familiar names here. So I'm going to do some Q&A. If you have any questions about how to build confidence, some of those things that I talked about, 1 through 10, that you can do in order to kind of bolster your confidence, or if you have any questions about masterminds, how they work, or whether they might be helpful for your particular case, I'd be happy to answer those questions. Now, the one thing I have to do is I have to put up this graphic, which is, if you have a question, please type question in all caps, because as chat comes through, I want to be able to notice that the chat is an actual question that I will answer. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the presentation today and the thoughts that I've had on building confidence. I think it is a really, really important topic. And if you have any questions about it, please pop them into the chat right now and just type question in all caps. And I know there's like a 20 or 40-second lag on YouTube live, so I know I'm going to have to wait a little bit for questions to pop in. But yeah, I think from what I'm hearing in my guild groups and the level of confidence people have experienced in going through the guild experience and coming out the other end of it, and everything that I'm hearing in the Facebook groups that I run, and more than anything also in the individual coaching that I do with creative professionals and entrepreneurs, is this level of confidence. If people are really suffering from the ability to feel sure about the decisions that they're making in their businesses and what goals to set. And, sometimes it's little things like how much to charge, or whether they should, add website design onto their brand identity agency, or whether they should start to learn brand strategy, or whether they should, partner with, another person and form a, consortium sort of agency, virtual agency. Whether they should start a YouTube channel, whether they should start a podcast, whether they should, go on other people's podcasts to get interviewed. Should they develop a media kit in order to pitch themselves to be on podcasts? Like, what is the next step? How are they going to build their business? What is the logical way for them to go forward? How can they get inspired and sucked through with that level of inertia to improve and grow and add rocket fuel to their business? And people are suffering. People are suffering from a lack of that. And that's why I am so passionate about mastermind groups, because they tick all of the boxes. They absolutely tick all the boxes of what it really takes to build confidence. So you guys, I don't see any questions coming in, and that's okay. So I'm going to pop back out of this screen. I'm going to turn this off. And one little thing that I'm going to share with you, though, if you don't know about this, is I have a Facebook group. It's called Brand Design Masters. If you are not a member of it, you should definitely join. It's called, it's Facebook/groups/Brand Design Masters. You have to fill out a form in order to get in. You have to share your email address. You have to answer just a couple of questions. But it's a really great private group of creative professionals, very vibrant. A lot of people are sharing a lot of stuff, asking questions, getting feedback. It's a free forum for interaction. And I frequent it a lot. I also go live in there a lot and share stuff that I don't share on YouTube. So if you're interested in joining a larger community, private community of creative professionals, definitely go check out the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. Okay? Definitely check that out. And, oops, hit the wrong button. Now I have way too many buttons going. I'm going to turn that one off. I'm going to turn that one off. I'm going to turn that one off. All right. I swear to God. All right. Oh, Peter. Yeah. So, you guys, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your coming and hanging out with me today. I'm going to probably pop on YouTube Live again next Monday. And share this presentation again. So if for any reason you came in late and you didn't get the benefit of me doing it live, you could always pop on next Monday, and I'm going to be offering it alive again. This recording will be up on YouTube, but if you pop in live, you'll be able to ask questions live and hear it live. Get the live experience. So this has been awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I value you as my community like you would not believe. Peter, Kay, Art and Mars, Paula, Piyushi, Manuel, Paul, Season, Stage Digital, Roberta, of course Roberta. Love you, Roberta. Christoph, Anita, Laura, it's so good to see all of you here, and I hope you can take something away of value for yourself out of what I shared here today. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. And maybe I'll see you next week on Monday here on YouTube. And I definitely want to see you in the Facebook group if you're not there already. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye.